In this lesson, we are working on word problems that have inequalities. So, first of all, let's do some review of our last lesson. So it says A is greater than 10. So, if our value is 10 and it's greater, we're going to have an open circle and everything is going to be shaded to the right because it's greater. C is greater than or equal to 71. Put our circle on 71, and this time we'll fill it in since it could be equal to, and since it's greater, we'll shade to the right. B is less than -5, so we're going to put an open circle at -5 because it's not equal to, and it says less than, so it's going to shade to the left. D is less than or equal to 189, so look at 189, we'll put a filled in circle, and less than means it's going to be shaded to the left. Now when we look at this particular example, number 1, we want to translate these words into inequalities. So this could be less than, this could be greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. But there are other words that we could describe for some of these symbols. For example, when we say it's at least, it means it could be that or more. At most could mean that it's that number or smaller. Greater than, we could say more than. So there are other words that we can use to describe those symbols as well. So when it says in this next example that today's temperature is at least 75 degrees, we'll put a couple of tick marks on before and after the 75. Today's temperature, we don't know what that is, so we're going to call it X. When it says it's at least 75, we're going to put our circle on 75, and since it can be 75, we'll fill it in. But when it says at least, that means it could be that or bigger. So it's greater than or equal to, and we will shade to the right. Manny is looking for a birthday card for his younger cousin. He knows that his cousin, so we're going to call his cousin X, is not older than 12. So since he's not older than 12, he could be 12 or he could be younger. So we're going to put a closed circle on 12 to say maybe he could be 12, but since he's not older, we would go less than or equal to 12. We'll put a couple tick marks after as well to show our values. In Seattle, the daytime temperature for October, the high is at most. At most means it can't be any bigger than 75, but it could be smaller. So the temperature could be less than or equal to 75 degrees. So we'll put our tick marks on our number line. 75, we're going to put a filled in circle, and we're going to go to the left because it would be smaller. Number 5 says write an inequality to match each statement. So the bus can hold no more than 25. So we're going to say the bus, no more than 25 means it could be less than or equal to 25. At least 500 teenagers at the concert. Here's the teenagers. At least means there was 500 or more. Greater than or equal to. Yasu earned no less than 75 on his math quiz. Since it's not less, it would be greater than or equal to 75. Look at the inequalities, and for each inequality, write a situation that could be described by the inequality. The inequality says G is greater than 6, where G represents the grade of a student. So the student's grade was more than 6. This is just a sample. In the next one it says the inequality T is less than 65, where T represents the temperature outside. The temperature was less than 65 degrees. The inequality M is greater than equal to 15, where M represents the number of money to bring for the field trip. The student must bring at least $15 on the field trip. These are samples of changing inequality statements into word statements. These are for you to try on your own, where we are writing inequalities, graphing them, and writing statements.